Hello and welcome to another Zach Carnage video, and today we are going to be having a post-structure deck duel, and this is between DDD and ABC. So on the left we have my friend John piloting the DDD deck with all of the new inclusions like Lamia and Siegfried and things like that that will be coming out this Thursday. And on the right I've got myself playing the brilliant ABC build. So John, as you can see, takes first turn, uses a gate to add Lamia, and then activates the green slime, my response of course being a max C. So this does diminish his plays a fair bit. So he obviously just goes into a dark, summons the Lamia, and then makes a Siegfried and passes at this point. This is largely because he doesn't want to give me too many draws. Max C really hurts the deck because they have to special summon so much in order to generate advantage. So my turn, I open up the Pot of Desires. He decides it's not quite worthy to negate, which is probably correct because negating Hanger is so much more important. So Hanger comes out and gets negated. The follow-up is, of course, Raigeki to deal with that Siegfried. This does mean that at this point I've had to use a fair few cards in order to get to the stage. So a Photon Thrasher followed by Silver Gadget is essentially the only play I can do. So there's a small misplay here where I summon the Silver Gadget and then attack with that instead of just attacking with the Photon Thrasher. Then those two make a Tsukiyomi, set a few cards, ditch the hand, and keep going. So I ditched a Garnet from my hand for that point. So we haven't been able to make ABC, unfortunately. The gate gets activated and a Twin Twister stops that from going off. Remember, that is a once per turn effect that's pretty hard, so you won't be able to activate another gate. Green Slime gets banished, so for a summon from hand. To summon the Thomas, and Thomas will act on the Copernicus, getting rid of that, and summoning the Ragnarok from deck. The two of these can then be turned into a rank 8, so that's the Kali Yuga, which gets struck. Can't risk Kali Yuga blowing up all the back row. So pass play to me with one set card for John. One of those sets is a Desires, and there's no response to this, so we can keep playing, thankfully. We've banished 20 cards now. So out comes a Gold Gadget, followed up by Vanity's Emptiness. And this is quite a key stage because Vanity's, although it does lock the ABCs out of playing the game, because that would have been an ABC Buster Drake right there, Buster Dragon. It does mean that DDD can't really recover at this stage because so much of their plays have gone into the graveyard, so that's going to end game 1, where it would have just been beat down from ABC. So moving on to game 2, DDD take the start. There's an Allure here. Banishes a Copernicus from hand, which isn't too much of a problem because Gate can search out anything that's needed, and it searches a Ragnarok. Green Slime and a Kepler make the Genghis, and then the Lamia comes out to make the Alexander, and the Ragnarok means that there are going to be a whole bunch of plays here. Essentially just summon back more and more stuff with the Genghis and the Alexander. Formula Synchron gets an additional draw by using the Lamia and the Kepler, and then that can go with the Genghis to make a Siegfried. So that's a pretty easy way to make the Siegfried. Then the Crystal Wing comes out. And Swamp King allows another fusion summon, so Beowulf goes with that Ragnarok to make Harbinger. So that's double spell trap, double spell negation, and a Crystal Wing, which means there's not really much that can happen. So anything that comes from the ABC board is essentially going to get wiped. So after the Brilliant Fusion and Dark Hole fail to go through, essentially it's over for ABC. So moving on to game 3, ABC opening with Brilliant Fusion, sending Garnet and the Clown, but there's not much else that I can do, so it's just set 3 with those on board and pass. So we see a Pot of Desires come out from DDD. the question is, did it banish the combo pieces? Kepler comes out to search Gate, and then Gate can search any of the monsters. So a red slime, the Necro Slime, is the next card we see. No responses there, so clearly none of the back row are that useful. Green slime would have been activated, but the dimensional barrier comes out and stops calling fusion. 1-for-1 pitches the green slime, allowing the summon of Lamia from the deck. So this means easy Formula Synchron for the extra draw. Then banishing the green slime summons the Ragnarok. Ragnarok can attack over the Seraphonite. And there's not masses that can be done here because so much was actually banished off the Desires. So John's very limited in his plays. So he passes over, and then out comes a Bee-Buster Drake. The extra deck options that can actually save the play at this point are kind of limited. So essentially I'm looking for anything that can not only get rid of the problems in the DDD board, but also deal with potential threats in the future. So Castell is what comes out. Get the Clown back, shuffle away the Ragnarok, and then attack over the Formula Synchron. But that does leave the Gate up for those very key searches. So Gate searches the Ragnarok. And then the contract with the Swamp King means easy fusion summons. So out comes Genghis, with the Ragnarok in the scale, I believe. So there are actually two scales now. I think they ended up being 3 and 10. We can't quite see them on the camera. But there's a fusion summon using the Necro Slime to make it dark, which of course triggers the Genghis, targeting Lamia, and the Lamia gets banished by a DD Crow. But then that's 3 monsters with easy outs to the Castell, and then attacking to deal damage for the Trick Clown, essentially. So once again, the DDD board comes back from essentially nothing to be very strong. On the ABC side, the only play available is to make a rank 4, so none of them can really help massively here. So I make the Utopia Lightning play, just because it can actually deal with the Genghis, so that John will have to go into a second Genghis in order to keep playing, but it's very likely that he'll be able to push for an OTK next turn, just because there's so little that can actually be done against him at this stage. There's no way for me to go into an ABC Dragon Buster here. So he searches for a Ragnarok with the Gate. Fusion summons the Genghis, and then essentially you see the massive board that comes out from that Genghis with the Ragnarok combo, and it's just unstoppable. So thanks for watching this video. As you can see, DDD won in the War of the Alphabet. If you have any comments or suggestions that you would like to make, please leave them in the comment section down below. If you want to see more full power duels, expect a few of them up in the future, especially ones moving into the new stages of the meta as we see DDD come out, and then of course soon enough we'll have the Zodiac Beast. My locals is also running a full power format event soon, so there'll be some interesting different decks from different eras going up against one another, so let me know if you want to see some duels of those as well. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.